What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these. Beautiful, delicious, barky, smoky, beefy, tender, amazing Salsa Mahca beef ribs. That's right, folks, we're making a Salsa Mahca full of great flavors and great textures and putting it on top of some lovely smoked beef ribs. Coming up. These are some beef ribs. Patted dry. And what I've got here is some beef ribs, some short ribs, some dino ribs, aka one of the best bites in Texas barbecue. They are USDA prime. Picked these up at my local HEB, and believe it or not, this whole rack was only 40 bucks, so not that bad. But it's also not the biggest rack, you know, coming in right around 7 pounds. And I've cooked beef ribs on this channel many times over the years, but I'm pretty sure the last time I did was on the Pellet Grill series, which was over a year ago, and I haven't made any since. But the other day I woke up and I thought to myself, I haven't had a beef rib in a minute, and I want to throw some on the pit. And one of my favorite parts about beef ribs is the meat on there is pretty comparable to brisket. So at a lot of barbecue joints, if they have beef ribs on the menu, they might do something a little bit different, just to help differentiate the flavors going on the barbecue tray. And when thinking about how I could make these beef ribs a little bit more unique, it got me thinking of my Suadero taco video from a few years back, which was some of the best tacos I've ever had in my life, which is where I recreated the tacos from Suerte that are absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend checking that video out. But essentially, I smoked a Suadero, which is pretty similar to brisket, chopped it up, threw it on a corn tortilla, and topped it with a salsa mahca and guacamole and other things. But the combination of salsa mahca and smoky beef is something I think about all the time, and I think it should work out really well on some beef ribs. But taking a look at this rack, I really don't think there's much trimming I need to do. If there's anything scraggly, I could zip that off. As you can tell, we've got a lot of really good intramuscular fat in there, and if there's a big fat cap on top, it can get pretty rich. Got this big chunk of fat right there, which is pretty unfortunate, but I'm not gonna go scooping that out. But if there's anything hanging off, I'll just kind of square it up a little bit. Fat cap's a little tall over here, take that down just a little bit. And some people will go full trim on this thing to remove all the silver skin and all the fat, which is fine, but typically I leave it on because the fat gets really nice and crispy, giving you that crispy bark like you'd find on a brisket. And also the silver skin kind of tightens everything up, so you end up with a taller beef rib with more bone pullback, which makes for a great presentation. And also because we're gonna cook this unwrapped the whole time, that top membrane is gonna get blasted with heat and be pretty crispy and edible by the end of the cook. Take out some of this thick fat over here. But again, you could definitely just pull this right out of the package and throw it on the pit and have great results. Again, just trying to make it look a little bit more pretty, a little more aerodynamic. And there we go, all trimmed up, pretty minimal trimming on there. Just took off any big pockets of fat or anything that was peeling up, any parts of the membrane that were too thick, and I think this should work out perfectly. And bottom membrane stays on as well. As for rub today, I'm going down with some Chuds BBQ SPG, my go-to rub for all things barbecue beef. Plenty of black pepper in there to get us that nice bark, and the salt and garlic to make everything taste good. And I'm not usually a binder guy, but beef ribs can be a little tacky, so I'm gonna go down with just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, especially on this membrane side, just to make sure that everything sticks. And then down we go with a nice healthy dusting. That's kind of the beauty of this 2-to-1 pepper to salt rub is you can go on as heavy as you want. You're not going to over salt anything. And some people say you don't need to season the membrane side, but some people are wrong. Not only for presentation, but also, you know, if your mouth gets down there, you might want to have some flavor on it. Don't forget the sides. Flip it over and do the same to the top side. Nice, healthy coating. Help build up that bark. Also, it's a lot of meat and it's really fatty, so good amount of salt, good amount of rub. And there we go, beautifully rubbed down rack of beef ribs, but this SPG is low sodium, like most of our rubs are. So if you want to add a little extra salty pop, you can go down with some Chuds BBQ Secret Salt. Not entirely necessary, but I think it works well on beef ribs and brisket. Just a light coating, but don't tell anyone, because it's a secret. Beautiful, let's fire up the pit. And on the pit we go. Got this pit fired up with some Fogo lump charcoal, as well as some post oak wood. Still on its way up in temp, so we should get some really good smoke flavor in the early stages of this fire catching. Place it right about there, same spot I'd normally put a brisket. And I'm just gonna rock a pretty clean, pretty classic fire. Build its way up to 275 over the first hour, and then probably just keep it at that temp for the entire cook. Beef ribs, super simple. So shut it down, start building that bark. This video is brought to you by Hone Health. Have you noticed a change in your mood, energy, or your body as you've gotten older? Because I certainly have. I mean, back in the day, I used to shoot a video for this channel, a video for Evan's channel. I was working at least a 60-hour work week. And then on the weekend, I was welding smokers. And there was definitely times in the background of my videos where you could see the sun coming up. But these days, things have slowed down pretty significantly. And a lot of that's to do with the fact that I'm getting older. Enter Hone Health. Hone Health is a longevity telehealth clinic, rated the #1 TRT clinic for men by Forbes Health. And how it works is super simple. You buy a test, book and complete a blood draw at your local lab, have your virtual doctor consult, and they'll provide you with a personalized treatment plan, and meds will ship right to your door. Essentially, it's a blood test covering 50+ biomarkers. Things like testosterone, prostate health, cholesterol, blood sugar, kidney and liver function, things like that. And I am not a medical professional, obviously, but Hone Health will connect you with a licensed physician to discuss the benefits and risks of your treatment. And again, treatments include things like TRT, sexual health, hair loss treatments, peptide supplements, and many more. And just because I'm starting to see some gray in the beard and I'm getting older doesn't mean I need to feel worse. Also, I had no idea how easy and affordable it was to get tested and treated. So if you want to get started with Hone Health, click my link in the description box of this video or scan the QR code on screen now and get started today for just 65 bucks. Again, link down below or QR code on screen now to check out Hone Health and get started for only $65. Thank you, Hone Health. We're about 3 hours into this beef rib cook, and they are looking pretty good, you know? Nothing's too burnt up or dark or anything like that. Starting to get a little bit of bone pullback. Bark is starting to form nicely, and I really don't think there's much to do. Might give it a little rotate just because I'm here for even cooking, but we're cruising at 275, and I think I'm gonna keep it there for the next several hours. And while those ribs smoke away, we got plenty of time to knock out our Salsa Mahca. And traditionally for a Salsa Mahca, you're gonna get some dried chilies, de-seed them, take the tops off, and dry toast them in a pan before chucking them into a food processor. But I'm gonna see if we can add a little extra flavor by toasting our chilies on the smoker. So a little bit farther up on the pit, I'm gonna go down with a sheet tray and throw down some Guajillo chilies. Again, took the tops off, took all the seeds and veins out, followed by some Ancho chilies, as well as some chili de Arbol. Bring a little bit of heat, and I tried to get as many of the seeds out as possible. But I'm gonna shut the lid down and let these toast away until they're smelling fragrant and feeling a little bit more pliable. And at the same time, I'm gonna throw in another sheet tray for all of our nuts and seeds that are traditionally found in a Salsa Mahca, starting with some peanuts, some white sesame seeds, some black sesame seeds, and some pumpkin seeds. All untoasted, if possible, because we're gonna toast them right now. I'm gonna come through and stir these all up to make sure nothing's burning, and hopefully they take on some really good color and flavor. It's been about 15 minutes or so, and we're already starting to get some nice color on these seeds. The sesame seeds are starting to darken up a little bit. I'm gonna just go ahead and get these all mixed around for even toasting. Oh, that's hot. Ow. The chilies are starting to dry out nicely as well. Looking good, smelling good. Go for a little bit longer just so we get a little bit more color on these. I need a spatula. So after about 20 minutes, I pulled all these chilies off because they were looking positively toasty and roasty. And then I let these nuts and seeds go for probably an hour. But they've definitely toasted up, taken on some good color, and hopefully some good smoke flavor. So moral of the story is, you can do in a smoker in about an hour what would take maybe 10 minutes in a dry skillet. But we'll see if it's worth it in the long run. And I'm cooking beef ribs, so I got plenty of time on my hands. But now into a food processor we go with all the chilies, as well as some garlic. I'll give that a little buzz. Looking very nice, got a good chunky texture to it, and this is definitely more of a food processor as opposed to a blender recipe. Because essentially we're making a Mexican chili crisp, right? So that's kind of the coarse, kind of chunky texture we're going for. And I'm gonna go in with all of our seeds and peanuts and whatnot, trying not to spill them absolutely everywhere. I'm just gonna give this a couple of pulses just to kind of crack the peanuts open. Again, I wanna have some texture to this salsa, but I also wanna get this stuff evenly incorporated. Ooh, yeah, that looks real good. And that is pretty much exactly the texture and color we're looking for. And now I've got a couple of cups of some avocado oil that is ripping hot, and we're gonna go over the top of this stuff. Little by little, because I learned from my chili crisp episode. Ooh, I can smell that garlic cooking already. Beautiful. I love a good chili crisp, and I love a good Salsa Mahca. At this point, I'm gonna go in with a big fat pinch of salt as well. We've got to season everything in here. And I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit, and then we'll taste it and adjust. Gotta tell you folks, this took absolutely forever to cool down. Probably because that oil was like 350 degrees and it's 103 degrees outside, but it has finally come down to temp and is looking absolutely beautiful. So now we'll go ahead and give that a taste, but so far, loving the texture of it. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Definitely needs a big fat pinch of salt. And I'm gonna go in with some apple cider vinegar as well, especially because this is going on some beef ribs. I think a little bit of acid is really gonna help cut through and balance this out a little bit. And I don't think it's traditional in a salsa matcha, but I think I'm gonna go in with a couple splashes of soy sauce just to add a little bit more umami instead of just adding more salt. But it's tasting incredible. Got that roasty flavor from the peanuts and the seeds. Got a little bit of kick from the arbol and all that deep chili flavor. And all this chili oil as well. Beautiful. Set that aside until we need it. We are 8 hours into this beef rib cook and I'm thinking they're done. Oh yeah. Perfect bone pullback on there, incredible bark, looking nice and squishy. Oh, they smell so good. It looks like someone took a big old bite out of this thing already. But pretty standard cook. 8 hours is usually what I clock for beef ribs. Loving the crunchy bark on there, loving how soft they're feeling. And it was funny, the bones took forever to pull back on this side. They were just like hanging on. So at one point I looked over and they were all stretched out and weird looking. And then like half an hour later, they were all snugged up, looking like a normal rack. But we're rocking right around 200 degrees, but most importantly, it's probing tender all over. So now I'm gonna let this rest down for probably like an hour because it's gonna take a while because these are ripping hot. So these have rested down to about 150 degrees internal. I did tent some foil over the top, which looks like it softened the bark just a little bit, which I am a-okay with. And now I think it's time to slice in and see how they look. Big reveal. Oh my goodness, that looks perfect. So juicy, nice and tender, nice and squishy. Yeah, that's a great looking beef rib right there. That's the little tiny one on the end too. Big, beautiful center cut, impenetrable bark, nice and juicy meat, not looking mushy or overcooked or anything like that. Big old pocket of fat over here, we saw that when it was raw, but not much you can do about it. Underside looking good and smelling positively beefy. Let me know down below, would you rather an end cut that's got a little burn end on it or the center cut that is just kind of the money shot with meat all around, the biggest rib? I like them both, but there's something kind of nice about gnawing on these crispy bits. But now it's time to go over the top with some of our lovely salsa matcha. Just gonna go over the bark here. Oh yeah. Got some of that oil kind of drip over. Get a lot of these little crispy bits on there. Smelling so good. I think these are gonna be tasty. Big old dino rib, little salsa matcha, get some chilies on there, some nuts, some seeds, a little extra texture, a little extra spice. And I'm trying not to put too much of the oil on there because I don't think we need to be adding too much fat, but the acidity in there is definitely gonna help out as well. But that's a good looking beef rib right there, folks. And there it is, folks, a big old mound of some salsa matcha covered beef ribs. I'm ready to see how these came out. Big, beautiful beef rib, covered in a lot more flavor and a lot more texture. Let's go for it. Ooh. Oh, that is crazy flavorful. First of all, perfectly cooked, nice and tender, nice clean bite on there. It's smoky, it's beefy, it's barky, it's rich, and everything you know and love about a good old Texas barbecue beef rib. But the flavor on top just packs such a punch, you know what I mean? First of all, you got that crispy bark, but then it's got all the chilies, the arbol, got the peanuts and the sesame seeds, adding more flavor and complexity to it. Going back for another one. That is an explosion of flavor. Whoa, I wasn't ready for that. So tender though. You know, when I first thought of this idea, I was really concerned about adding more fat to a beef rib, you know? I've often said in the past, if I could pick up choice beef ribs at H-E-B, I probably would because they're so inherently rich just because they're beef ribs and these are prime grade. But again, it's mostly just the chunkies sitting on top, so not too much extra added oil. But also the vinegar is really coming through, which is really nice. So you're getting the crunch factor, the chili factor, plus a little pop of acidity for a very flavorful bite. So satisfying too. I could definitely see this on a barbecue restaurant menu just because presentation wise, you know, it looks so cool. Still got that big old dino rib factor going on. But then you eat it and it's unlike any other beef rib I've had, you know? All day I've kind of been comparing it in my head to the Szechuan peppercorn beef ribs we used to make at Leroy and Lewis. Check out my video on that if you haven't seen it yet. Which is kind of what I was saying earlier about how a lot of places will do something a little bit different with their beef ribs because it lends itself pretty well to flavors. And unlike brisket, you know, if you tamper with brisket too much, you're gonna anger some Texans. But a different flavor profile like this on a beef rib, it's just absolutely fantastic. I love salsa matcha. So good. It's honestly not as spicy as I was expecting either, you know? Got a little background heat, but all in all, just kind of a well-balanced with the saltiness, acidity, a little bit of kick, but not gonna blow your socks off or anything like that. So if you make this recipe and you want it to have a little more kick, you can definitely chuck a few extra arbols in there, but I'm liking how that's tasting, but it's adding up quick. I can't put down beef ribs like I used to. Still a pretty good effort though. You know I'm eating this whole thing off camera. Sign of a good cook right there. It's an expensive bone though. Might hang it on my wall. And with this very bite of beef rib, I think it's time for the official taste test. Alright y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic salsa matcha beef ribs. I highly recommend giving this one a try, you know, especially if you're looking for something a little bit different than your classic Texas barbecue beef rib. This is a great way to go about doing that without compromising everything you know and love about a big old dino rib. Also, if you've never made or had salsa matcha before, I highly recommend making a batch because it's a lot like chili crisp, like I was saying earlier, and it just goes great on absolutely everything. And I'm glad to have a lot on hand. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.